All right, Padres fans, why should we feel good going into Game 5 in the NLDS coming up, obviously, on Friday, a little bit after 5 o'clock? For me, I've got multiple reasons. I'll talk about the Dodgers bullpen here in a little bit because we don't know who the starter is as of this recording at around 8:30 p.m. the night before Game 5. Don't know if it's Yamamoto, don't know if it's Flaherty. It could be a bullpen day that they go with. That is still under consideration. I just watched Dave Roberts speak to the media. So that's the latest there. But for me, I've got four reasons off the bat here. I got, and this is in no particular order, but just how I thought of him. I'm going Yu Darvish. He's obviously getting the start. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run at Dodger Stadium in Game 2 of this series. Not saying that we should expect him to do that exact same thing because he was pitching really well that outing. But he can do something similar to that. I do have the confidence there that he can do that. Let's not forget, earlier this year, he was one of the best pitchers in baseball for like a month before that really bad Yankee outing. And then the outing that he had against the Dodgers, obviously, this last time out, he was keeping guys off balance. And don't know totally about the health of Freddie Freeman. Dave Roberts expects Freddie Freeman to be in that Dodgers lineup. And I said that same thing the other night after Game 4, just because Freeman didn't play, so he had the day off, and then has another day to get treatment, and then another day before the game starts at around 5. So for me, it's like, yeah, Freddie's going to be in the order. But even with Freddie in the order, Darvish was able to limit the Dodgers to that 1 earned run, keep guys off balance. And he obviously, prepares better than probably anyone, or at least he's at that level. If you ask his teammates, with that number of pitches that he can go to, it just makes it hard. I assume it makes it hard if you're a Dodger hitter to really prepare for what is going to be coming from you, Darvish. Or maybe you look at your cold zones and you're like, all right, or what pitches do you struggle with and you expect those pitches. But then if Darvish can see that maybe you're sitting on that pitch, he can go with something else. So I'm confident going into tomorrow. I think the starting pitching advantage goes the Padres' way. If it's a bullpen game for the Dodgers, what I would say there is, well, are they going to be able to do what they did in Game 4? They're going to do that again for a second consecutive game. And if they go to Kopech in the 4th inning or the 5th inning, and they go to Vesia a little bit earlier as well, are they going to save Flaherty for those last innings? And the Padres can get to Flaherty. When are they going to go with Yamamoto? They scored 5 runs off of Yamamoto in, what was that, Game 1. 4 runs off of Flaherty in Game 2. They can get them. The Padres have shown that they can do it through stringing together hits, playing smart baseball on the base paths, but they can also do it through the power department with the homers. Manny had a homer off of Yamamoto. Tatis, 5 hits and 2 home runs in Games 1 and Game 2 at Dodger Stadium earlier in this series. He is the best offensive player, in my opinion, this postseason. He is hot, and he has guys around him in this lineup that can get on base or do damage as well. And then what I like is Suarez, Scott, and Adam, they're going to be rested. They didn't obviously have to throw in Game 4, and they've had success against the Dodgers already here in this series. No earned runs allowed combined so far by those 3 guys, the big 3 in this Padres bullpen. And I would be surprised, to be honest, if Suarez might go 3 outs, but I'd be surprised if Adam doesn't go more than 3 outs. I'd be surprised if Scott doesn't go more than 3 outs, because you're trying to shorten this game as much as you can. Get as much as you can out of Darvish, and then they probably go right to those guys. Now, Michael King, it seems like he's not off the table to pitch for an inning maybe. Mike Chill was talking to the media and pretty much saying nothing's off the table. So we'll see about that. Game 1 of the championship series would be Sunday. So we do have to think about that. But the Padres, if you're Mike Chill, you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about how can we get the 27 outs. So if Michael King, you think, can get 3 outs and he's the best option for you other than a reliever, or maybe it's another reliever that you just rather have Michael King on the mound to face those guys, then maybe they do go with Michael King. But what is making me confident going in is the Padres, they're doing well. The high leverage guys, shouldn't say late because they may not pitch late in the game tomorrow. It's really like, I think the Padres, they could approach it like, if we have a lead early, okay, let's keep that lead. However we can keep that lead, that's how we're going to do it. Doesn't matter what inning Tanner Scott's throwing or Jason Adam. If Shohei Ohtani's up and it's the 6th inning or 5th inning even, and they want to get Darvish out of there and they'd rather have Tanner Scott face Shohei, and you have Freddie Freeman coming up as well, then they go to Tanner Scott right there. It's about getting the outs. And I'd rather have the lead in the 6th inning. Tanner Scott comes in instead of the 8th inning or whatever, gets through that, and then you worry about that later. Then you bring another reliever in and you give up the lead there, and then you have Tanner Scott coming in down by 1, right? Or in a tie game when you could have had him come into the game with a lead, and then maybe when it gets deeper into the game, guys get tight. Dodger guys get tight, right? It also gives you more time to add on to a lead if you do have a lead. So that's what I've got. Darvish, we know that he can pitch well against the Dodgers. He showed it this series already at Dodger Stadium. Tatis, he's had success obviously at Dodger Stadium, not just in this series, but like in his career. He loves that place. He feeds off of being the villain. I disagree with Dave Roberts saying that, they like to play, the Padres like to play the villain role, like making it seem like we are the villains. The only reason the Padres were the villains is because they're the road team at Dodger Stadium and the Dodger fans hate the Padres, obviously. So that's why. But in terms of like who should be the villain, it should be the Dodgers, not the Padres. I mean, let's be honest. With stuff that has happened this series, it's not the Padres, it's the Dodgers. But if we want to take on that villain role because we're going to be the road team in that hostile environment, well, the Padres, they do play well in that environment. And Tatis obviously loves shutting up that crowd, and he loves dancing in right field and having fun with the fans. And Profar, obviously, I think he feeds off that. Manny, I could say the same thing with those boos. I still feel like Crony could be due for a big moment here. Remember, Bogarts did come through earlier in the series at Dodger Stadium with a couple of runs down the line with a hit. So the Padres, they've got the talent offensively. I mean, just go look at the runs that they've scored here in these games. Obviously, they scored, 10 runs? That was 6 runs in game 3. Obviously, nothing in game 4, but I'd like to forget about that. Game 2 on Sunday, 10 runs, won 10-2 there. In game 1, they scored 5 runs. So they can score not just 1 run, but they can score a good amount of runs here against the Dodgers. And then if you're going to your high leverage guys and you've got your best starter on the mound right now, based on the most recent result against the Dodgers, like I'm feeling good. I know the way I feel has no bearing on what this game's going to turn out to be, the result. So why not feel optimistic? We have reasons to feel optimistic, so why not feel optimistic and feel good going into the game? Let's not worry about it. Whatever happens is going to happen, and that's how I'm feeling about it. But, yeah, Game 5 coming up Friday, Padres, Dodgers, the whole baseball world and probably sports world will be tuned into this one because, I mean, it's not like there's a bunch of big events going on. I mean, this is the event. Friday night, this is it. Padres, Dodgers on Big Fox. It's not on FS1. Can't wait.